Hi, this is Alex from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book and record to play for you. Today's book is Knight Rider Target for Revenge from 1984, so let's get started.
This is your Knight Rider read-along book. Every time you hear this chime, it means it's time to turn the page in your storybook. Now, if you are ready, we will start the story, Target for Revenge. Don't forget to turn the page every time you hear the chime. Hello, I'm the mainframe memory computer, case history section, Knight Enterprises. I have file 1422 online for interface at this time. In Devon Miles' office at the Knight Mansion, Devon, Michael Knight, and April Curtis all sat in silence, staring at the television screen as the video cassette ended. The cassette had arrived in the morning mail from Hawaii. It was a desperate plea to Michael from Maria Lee, a beautiful and wealthy young woman who claimed that her life and her family's sugarcane holdings were being threatened by organized crime. Michael wanted to leave for Hawaii immediately. Devon wanted to get more facts first, and April reminded Michael that he would have to operate without his Trans Am. Michael chuckled and told him that Kit would be going. Kit, the car's computer, had been monitoring the entire conversation from the garage, and now reminded Michael that there weren't exactly any highways between California and Hawaii. When Michael explained that he planned to go by ship, Kit cringed. Seasickness. But Michael assured him that he had nothing to worry about. A computer couldn't get seasick. The usual last-minute confusion reigned at dockside the next day as the SS Pacific Breeze prepared to sail. Before Michael got out of the car and left it for the dock hands to load, Kit asked him about the latest weather report over the ocean. Clear sailing all the way, Michael reassured him. Moments later, thick chains were attached to the car, and a crane lifted it high into the air, then slowly lowered it into the cargo hold. For several days, the trip was pleasant, but on the last night out, a storm hit. And what a storm it was, with howling winds ripping through the ship and towering seas washing across the decks. Many passengers became seasick. Even Michael felt queasy. But before he went to his cabin to lie down, he decided to check on Kit. What he found was a very unhappy computer with circuits that were definitely woozy. It was seasickness in anybody's book, computer or not. The only comfort Kit had was the fact that Michael seemed to be seasick too. The next day brought sunny skies for the ship's docking in Hilo, Hawaii. Joining his car on the pier, Michael was greeted by an island band and a beautiful young woman in island dress. As she placed a flower lei around his neck and kissed him hello, Michael recognized her as Maria Lee. She was even more beautiful than on the videotape. Maria started to lead Michael to her car, a fire-red Trans Am, but he explained that he had his own car with him. Maria's surprise and disappointment didn't make Michael suspicious at the moment, but when he thought about it later, he realized it should have. For now, he was so distracted by her beauty and her interest in him that no such thoughts occurred to him. As they each got into their cars, Maria suggested that they visit the famous volcano Mauna Loa on their way to his hotel. Outside Hilo, the highway climbed above sea level, and the smoking cone of Mauna Loa rose up in front of them. Maria sped along the narrow, winding mountain road, with Michael following close behind. Suddenly, just as she entered a hairpin curve, she jammed on her brakes. Michael had three choices: hit her, go over the precipice, or... He cut his wheel hard and punched in the turbo boost. The Trans Am leaped across the gorge and landed safely on the road ahead of Maria. Michael sat catching his breath as Maria came running from her car, apologizing and explaining that her foot had slipped on the brake pedal. Continuing their ride to Michael's hotel, the two cars sped along the dusty road that ran arrow straight between the rising stands of sugarcane fields. Maria decided to show Michael one field. She stopped her car, and Michael pulled up behind her, curious. She got out, a cane knife in her hands, and expertly chopped a stalk of cane. Quickly stripping it and cutting off 2 pieces, Maria handed one to Michael. They ate, laughing as the juice ran down their chins. Suddenly, without warning, Maria darted away, disappearing into the cane. She called back, taunting, daring Michael to catch her if he could. Michael followed the sound of her voice until she stopped calling. He yelled and waited, listening. That's when the huge harvesting machine appeared out of nowhere, coming right at him. Michael dove into a ditch just as the blade slashed above him and the machine moved past. He lay there in the harvested field covered with stalks of sugarcane. Dirty but alive. The next day, Michael found himself in a helicopter streaking over the water, heading for the North Shore and Waimea Bay. He could not think of one good reason why he had agreed to Maria's suggestion. To jump from a helicopter and ride the biggest waves in the world. Now, standing at the open door of the chopper with the air rushing in, Michael wondered if the chill he felt was from the cool air or icy fear. The chopper hovered. Michael dropped the surfboard into the water, then jumped in after it. There was only one way back now. As Michael picked up a wave, he suddenly felt the board split in 2 beneath him. A hidden cut had been sawed in the board, ready to split when he put his weight on it. Like 3 pieces of flotsam, Michael and the 2 halves of the surfboard plummeted down the 40-foot face of the wave and were thrown in all directions as the wave crashed. After Michael related the Waimea experience to Kit over the watch radio, the computer advised him to give up this investigation and return home immediately. But Michael protested that he was having a great time. Besides, it had been Maria's surfboard he was using, and he was more determined than ever to discover who was after her. He also had to admit to himself that his suspicions about Maria were growing. Why did she always seem to disappear from the scene just before the disaster struck him? And why against him, when it was supposed to be her life that was in danger? No, Michael decided, he would not go on like this any longer. He would get some answers to his questions and begin his investigation before another day went by. That evening, when Michael went down to the lobby to meet Maria, he found a note waiting for him, asking him to meet her at the volcano lookout. Kit wanted Michael to ignore the message, for he didn't trust the red Trans Am any more than Michael trusted Maria. But before the discussion went any further, the warning light and buzzer went off in the car, signaling that Devon was calling them via the Knight Enterprises satellite. His news was surprising, but it cleared up a lot of questions in Michael's mind. Lee was actually Maria's mother's maiden name. Her father was Nicky Davis, the notorious mobster Michael had captured a year ago. He had been sent to prison for a life sentence, and his daughter was bent on taking revenge on Michael Knight, no matter what the cost. Michael approached the lookout, curious but worried. Maria was there, smiling and waving to him as he pulled up. What evil scheme was she planning now? At that moment, Mauna Loa exploded behind her with more than its usual fury. Red-hot magma leaped hundreds of feet into the air, and a billowing cloud of ash eclipsed the sun. Suddenly, Maria's wave to Michael became a wave in another direction, the direction of a large sugarcane truck hidden until now in a clump of trees. At Maria's signal, the truck pulled out and built up speed, heading in a straight line for Michael. Michael slammed on his brakes and came sliding to a stop. He hit reverse, cut the wheel hard, and floored it. The Trans Am shot back and buried the accelerator, then roared away with the truck on his tail. Reaching the first of many hairpin curves down the mountain, Michael hit the brakes, downshifted, and kept the Trans Am steady on the road. The truck, however, wasn't so lucky. It missed the curve and exploded in the gorge, its explosion joining volcanoes. Michael started back up the mountain again to get the answers he wanted from Maria. But as he rounded the curve, those answers, and Maria in the red Trans Am, were heading straight toward him, bearing down at top speed. Michael jerked the wheel, and Maria shot past him. Flooring the gas pedal, Michael caught up to her and tried to pass, but she blocked him. She touched her brakes suddenly, forcing Michael to do the same. Moments later, he slipped in alongside her. Cars touching, then scraping, Michael managed to edge past as they approached the next hairpin curve. Rounding it, Michael drew in his breath and alerted Kit to the red river of molten lava blocking the road. He hit the turbo boost and the black Trans Am leaped over it. But for Maria and the red Trans Am, the volcano had their last word. As they headed down the mountain, Kit had only one request. Please, could they fly home?
So that was Knight Rider, Target for Revenge from 1984. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. And our next book will be Ghostbuster Meet the Laser Ghost.